Greetings and welcome to Let's Play Elanarae. Wait, no. I just love doing that. I kind of wanted to do some sort of Might and Magic retrospective review. I kind of just want to talk about the Might and Magic series. The main reason is that next weekend I'm going to start uploading my Might and Magic 9 Let's Play. And yeah, today I finished up Might and Magic 6 again. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the series, how I got introduced to the series, you may call it that, and my thoughts on the development of the series and how it ended, and so on. So, how did I got introduced to the Might and Magic series? I started this series with Might and Magic 2. My father sometimes rented a video game for me in a video game rental shop. But the problem is I was like 8, 9, something around that. And I wasn't allowed to enter the shop because it was a normal video store and they had, movies for 18 plus people in there. So he kind of just went in there without me and rented something that may interest me. And he kind of knows my taste, so he rented one day Might and Magic 2 for a weekend for the Super Nintendo. And if you know the port for the Super Nintendo, you also know that it's a huge pile of shit. Holy hell, this game is bad. Ooh, really bad. I watched Arpeggini's Genesis walkthrough of this game, and the Genesis version seems to be a lot better. But this game for 8 or 9 year old for just a weekend went way over my head. I had no idea about the series. I took the default party, ran around a little bit, died a lot. Then I remember that I read something about this game. I think if you put ARD or ARC in front of the names, your characters gain like 9 billion experience points and 9 billion gold or something. And with that cheat, I was kind of searching my ways through the mazes and stuff like that, but it wasn't really that enjoyable. And if you know Might and Magic 2, you also know that you need quite a lot of meta knowledge. I mean, I never knew that your gender in this game actually matters. Because there are some monsters that cannot be hurt by men and some can't be hurt by women. So if you're fighting a white knight and you have only women in your party, then they cannot hurt him. Magic may hurt them, but like I said, for an 8, 9 year old, this was kinda hard. I mean, whoa, this was... Then again, I was kind of... At this time, I also played quite a lot of Dungeon Master and Elf Beholder, I think. At least Dungeon Master. But the thing with Dungeon Master is you didn't really have to read quite a lot in Dungeon Master. So, I was playing Dungeon Master since I went to kindergarten. It's kind of interesting. Kindergarten is a German word, you know that? I just wanted to say this. But yeah, Might and Magic 2 way over my head. This game was so complicated, and you always had the fear of doing something wrong. I mean, in Might and Magic, it wasn't, like I said, until I watched Arpeggini's Let's Play of it, that I actually realized how you have to start the game. Because in the beginning of the game, there's a monster, I think Slime Beast or Sludge Beast or something like that. And if your level 1 party encounters one of these, they are dead. There is no chance, you cannot run from it because it's way too high level. You can't attack it really, and it will just annihilate you. And not to mention, it's usually in groups of 2 or 3 with different other monsters. The Might and Magic series kinda, you fight against an army, usually. And so you kinda had to do some specific things in order to get stuff running. And so I was like, fuck this. I'm not really interested in that. A few years later, there was a video game magazine thingy. It kind of released one game per month, full version for 10 D-Mark, €5 nowadays. And my cousin got hold of this magazine, and there was Might and Magic 4 on it. And I looked, and when I was younger, I always compared these games with other games. And I was like, "Wow, this is like Dungeon Master, awesome!" It was really a few years later. I'm pretty sure I was around 12 at the time, if not older. I'm not 100% sure, but at least I was older. And so I was playing Might and Magic 4, and I actually went out and bought this game for me. And I think 1 or 2 months later, they also released Might and Magic 5. And so I was playing these games. They also had a solution for these games. And I'm pretty sure without a solution, I also wouldn't have figured out most of, especially the riddles. And I think the game was also in English. And I also have to mention this because I got quite a lot of flack because I'm not really a big fan of story-driven RPGs. You have to remember, I'm from Germany. When I bought, for example, Ultima Underworld, because I was like, this looks like Dungeon Master, I was 10 at the time. I didn't know English. I had it for like 1 or 2 years at school, so I knew the basic stuff. I knew a little bit of the grammar or something. And then there was like this game like Ultima Underworld, which was like, bam, in your face, have fun. And I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So I usually went to games that were a little bit less read intensive, especially RPGs, but I still loved RPGs, so I kind of went to the dungeon crawler side of gaming. Anyways, sorry. So I was playing Might and Magic 4 and 5 quite a lot. I also merged it to create a scene, which was really awesome. You could kind of combine those 2 games together to create one bigger game. And a classmate at this time also had Might and Magic 3, which, as you know, was also kind of like Might and Magic 4 and 5. So I also fell in love with that game. And I was playing these games quite a lot. I finished them quite often, and they are always fun to just play. If you know most of the riddles in your sleep, and you know the game, and you know where you have to go and what you have to do, it is kind of nice. Break in between. So I'm like, I'm bored, so I will just boot up a party in Might and Magic 3 and go to town and enjoy the game again. Then came Might and Magic 6. I didn't like that game. First I was impressed. I was like, this is like free movement like in Doom. Like I said, I always compare games. This is free movement like in Doom and stuff like that. But it felt so totally different. And I don't know, I think I missed a key somewhere. I couldn't finish one of the main quests because I didn't find a key. And I was like, this game is not fun. I seriously dislike this game. The beginning of Might and Magic... I will go in depth of Might and Magic 6 later on and why I don't like it. So, this was kind of the, let's say, the end of Might and Magic. For me, at this time. And I also played, but I also kinda didn't really like. I liked playing Heroes of Might and Magic, and it kinda made sense that they merged the games together, the storylines and stuff, but in hindsight, it also made it pretty difficult to follow the stories. Not to mention, following the story of Might and Magic was pretty hard and not easy. I mean, the first 5 games are kinda one ongoing storyline. The, let's say, Crusade of Elanarae and with the Ancients. Not to mention, this game was always like the ending. When I first played Might Magic 4 or 5, I think in 5 there were more of this futuristic stuff. I was like, why am I fighting robots now? What? What the hell? And so you kind of have to play, and not to mention, like I said, I was missing the first 2 games and the story of the first 2 games. So I had to fight robots and stuff like that, and it was kind of, surprising. So in order to get the story of the Might and Magic series, you also have to play the games. You should play them in different order. You first of all play them in order, then mix the order a little bit so you get references and stuff like that, and so on. So this is a kind of complicated story. But what I also like, it doesn't get forced down your throat. And like I said, I hate games that are so full of story, and you had to endure it. You are like, here's a story, down your throat. Damn it. And I'm like, I don't really care, but when I experience the story, it's totally different. That's like I like video games are interactive medium. I want to experience the story. I don't want to read about it. You do get the difference. If somebody sits down with me and tells me about a huge battle that waged on and stuff like that, and quite a lot of heroes went through there and blah blah blah, that's not as interesting as I am at this battle fighting this war. That's a huge difference. Anyways. Might and Magic 6 kinda killed off the Might and Magic series for me. I was looking at screenshots of Might and Magic 7 and 8 and 9. And the the gaming magazines weren't kind with the Might and Magic series. And they also said that they are a huge pile of shit. So I was like, I don't really care. I met someone in Diablo when I kind of got internet running and stuff like that, who was really into the Might and Magic series still, even after 6. She played 6 like several times, beat it several times, and I was like, how could you play such a crappy game? I don't understand it. I mean, it's horrible. It looks horrible. It feels horrible. And she's like, I really like it. Okay, different opinions. I can accept that. Then, it was kind of like when I made my YouTube account. I had to check it. I don't even know when I made my YouTube account, but when I got into the Angry Video Game Nerd, and from the Angry Video Game Nerd to game reviewer in general, and then I found Kikoskia, and then I heard about Let's Playing, and then I found RP Genie, who also made the whole Might and Magic series. And I watched most of his Let's Plays. And I was like, here's Might and Magic 7. That looks kinda interesting. How about I check it out? I mean, I'm a big fan of the Might and Magic series up of, 3, 4, and 5. So let's check it out. And I'm like, hey, this game doesn't look that bad. At least not as bad as 7. And so I kinda went on my merry way and ordered Might and Magic 7 and Might and Magic 8 after seeing a Let's Play of it. And 7 and 8 are pretty enjoyable games. It's 8 is... how do I put it? I would say that Might and Magic 8 is kind of like a beginner RPG again. I didn't really find it that hard. In the beginning, dungeons are kinda easy-ish, let's say it like this, and you also have your set paths telling you where you have to go and what you have to do. So I personally would say that Might and Magic 8 is kind of, if you want to get into these kind of games, I would say start with Might and Magic 8 in the modern Might and Magic series. I also saw some screenshots of Might and Magic 9. I never found this game until recently when GOG released it. And whew. Ouch. I recorded like 3 hours so far of this game. I'm going to warn you. I'm going to warn everyone who wants to watch my Let's Play of Might and Magic 9. In the first 3 hours, I'm heavily using a walkthrough. Main reason is this game is buggy. This game has game-breaking bugs. If you are not careful in your promotion quests, you can screw them up and you cannot promote your characters. There are some quests you kinda have to do in order, otherwise they become unbeatable. Thus, the game becomes unbeatable. Not to mention, I think the first hour or so when I recorded the game, it was crashing non-stop. I don't know why it was crashing non-stop, but this is not an easy game to let's play, I can tell you that. Not to mention, you will see it in my first part of this game, that, whoa, this game is totally different from the other ones. But yeah, so far it is still kinda enjoyable, but I am looking forward to Let's Play Might and Magic 7, I can tell you that. Other than that, I got from GOG the whole Might and Magic series. I also bought all of the Heroes of Might and Magic series. I may say something about the Heroes of Might and Magic series at the end of this vlog, but yeah. Anyways, let's playing these games. I hope that Might and Magic 9 doesn't take that long. Like I said, I was playing Might and Magic 6. I started it during Easter when I was at my parents' place. If somebody wants to comment on this, that I'm playing video games when I'm visiting my parents, then do me a favor and jump out a window. And yeah, so I started, and it takes quite a long time. The problem is, there's quite a lot of running around if you have no clue what to do. If you have no clue what area you can go yet and cannot go yet, you're running around, you're checking out. And what I also don't like from 6 onwards, I wouldn't say it's cheating. I also wouldn't really say it's exploiting. But you kinda have to fight with the AI of the game. Because the AI is totally stupid. But the game also is pretty hard. Yeah, I will go into in-depth more now with Might and Magic 6. Might and Magic 6, what I did not like about the game when I first played it, I really hated the beginning dungeons. This game, in my opinion, is a hell at the beginning. The first dungeon, you get most of the quests, so I went in there first, was the temple of the abandoned temple of Ba, which is full of bats that disease you, which is full of snakes that poison you, which is full of spiders that poison you, which also is full of other vermin and stuff like that hits pretty hard. So for a beginning party, this level is hell. And in all of the Might and Magic series, every Might and Magic game kinda plays the same or similar. In the beginning, you have no money, you have barely any spells, you need every little gold piece you get to get going, to repair your items, to get new items, to identify items, to buy spells, to get training done. Then in the mid game, you're kind of set with spells, or you begin to get set with spells. You also have enough money to get training done. From Might and Magic 6 onward, you also have enough skills to repair your own items, to identify your own items. So it's the beginning of the game is always pretty hard because you kind of need to get your, well, let's say you need to get your economy rolling. You need money, you need spells, you need experience, you need levels. I know there are people out there who beat the game with one night, playing blindfolded, without leveling past level 20 or whatever. Those are people who know the game inside out. And coming back to Might and Magic 8 being pretty easy, I also made that. I beat most of the game with a night. I think I easily beat half of the game. It goes harder later on because you kind of elemental magic spells to hurt some stuff, but it's doable. But I'm not a Might and Magic 6 expert, so I honestly, and not to mention the problem with Might and Magic 6 is all of the beginning dungeons are hell. The first dungeon you should go is the Goblin Keep, which is doable, kinda. You kinda had to run back to the temple quite a lot to get healed and stuff like that, but there, except for the rats, there's not much that can disease you, and I really hate stuff like that. You get diseased, what do you have to do? You have to run out the level, have to run back to the temple, you have to heal up, and so on. Sure, there are potions against that, but if you have no clue about the potion recipes, well, too bad. Well, you can mix them up, but when I first played this game, I was like, yeah, what the fuck do I have to do? Not to mention, you don't really get that much ingredients, so you can't be like, yeah, I'm using potions to cure the disease. I think you need like 3 herbs or something for a cure disease potion. Anyways, then you go to the next area. Like I said, if you have no experience of the game. If you have experience of the game, you go to the Goblin Keep, you clear out the Goblin Keep, you go to the next area, you get the most important skills and spells to survive the temple. But if you have no clue about that, and you kind of are like, yeah, I kind of want to finish up where I am first, because I have quite a lot of quests here and so on. So, anyways, you are the next part of the game. You have 3 dungeons to choose from. One is a Thieves Guild hideout, which has monsters that can instantly knock someone unconscious. Well, not really knock someone unconscious, but do so much damage in one hit that it knocks your party unconscious at that level. And when I played the game, I really had to exploit the AI. I'm not a bad player per se. I wouldn't say that I'm a bad player. I know my role-playing stuff. I know the Might and Magic series. But the game makes it really easy to be exploited. You are standing in a doorway. The enemies are kind of standing where you can hit them, but they kind of bash in the walls or something. And you cannot go toe-to-toe with the enemies. And I hate RPGs where you cannot go to toe-to-toe with the enemies. I have melee fighters, for fuck's sake. I want to go into melee combat with them. Anyways, so most of the time you're running around a long corridor, kind of kiting the enemies. You have some sort of turn-based mode in this game. So you kind of run past the enemies down a long corridor, hit turn-based mode, turn around, bolt them with arrows. When they come into melee range, you stop the turn-based mode, you run past and rinse repeat until the enemy hideout is cleared. That's the first dungeon you can do. Then there's the Begoner dungeon, which also has pretty tough melee fighters in there. And in an optional part of the dungeon, yes, it is optional, doesn't matter that I still hate it, there are blobs. Oozes. Do you know what's the funny thing with oozes? They cannot be hurt by weapons, unless these weapons have a modifier like adds 1 to 16 points of fire damage. they can only be hurt by magic. Your mage that you have cannot really cast a lot of spells. I encountered the same oozes like 20-30 levels later in another dungeon, and I wouldn't say I had a hard time with them, but I was pumping fireballs into them like a madman and barely killed them. So I have a party that is about level 5 that encounters the same oozes that my party of level 30 plus had problems with. Seems legit. Yeah, I would design a game like that too. I mean, that's fun. I mean, that's fun. That's kind of like my Icewind Dale Let's Play, where I was going through the add-on of the game and the monsters just killed me. They showed no mercy, they just killed me. Okay, it is an optional part of the dungeon. I can live with that. That's totally fine. You don't have to do it, you may do it to get some loot and stuff. Okay, fine. The third dungeon you can do is the lesser or small or whatever temple of Ba. And I have no idea who designed the temple, but for a beginning party, this is madness. If you really want to play the game kind of legit and you don't want to I still don't want to say exploit. Exploit seems like I'm really using a bug in the system, but I'm kind of playing with the game mechanics around. In the abandoned temple of Ba, or in this temple of Ba, you have to get a quest item somewhere laying on an altar. If you touch the altar or you go near the altar, a whole real wide area spawns full of skeletons. I'm pretty sure there are about 40-50 skeletons in this damn room. And they murder you. You usually encounter like 5 of them beforehand. And they are kind of like a problem if you are like, again, running away, shooting them with bows and so on, kiting them around. So now you're fighting like 50 of them. And I'm like, what the hell? Who made this? Then you realize there's some sort of secret entrance, and you go in this entrance, and then you are kind of like on some sort of balcony. So down below are all the skeletons running against the wall because they are idiots, and you're standing on top of the balcony. And you have a spell that's kind of like Wing of Fire that hurts enemies around you. So you're gathering as many skeletons as possible below you, and you're spamming Wing of Fire like a madman. At least that's what I did. And that's how you win. And I felt bad when I did this, but I had no idea how else I would have done this. Sure, perhaps I could have run away somehow, kind of like kiting these skeletons around, but I'm not really a fan of... I don't know, when I'm playing an RPG, I'm not really thinking about kiting enemies around in a huge bulk behind me running through the exit. I kind of want to play a game and fight them. And I never had a situation like this in one of the later games. I don't think I ever, when I played Might and Magic 7, I was like running around like a madman, kiting a whole bunch of skeletons that were around behind me, or other enemies, and so on. So that's kind of like the beginning of the game. Then you start getting your skills and your equipment and your spells, and things start to get better. You also can slowly go into melee combat with the enemies. And I had the problem that I didn't really find a good healing spell for my party, so I was always healing with the first aid spell. That's like, yeah, I have to cast it 20 times to heal my knight. And I got power heal quite late. So I was in the mid-game of the game, magic becomes kind of more important. You can really lay some devastation to the enemies. But still, your most trusted weapon is the bow. Yes, you have to use the bow a lot in these games, and I don't know, I don't like it. I have a party of a knight, an archer, okay, bow, a cleric and a mage. And I kind of want to, use all of their skills. But my knight has to use the bow all the time. Because the enemies, they just murder you if they go to melee range. I don't know who designed that. Not to mention, I think my main problem with the game is that it felt so... It was lacking something. It was lacking... When you played the game, you kind of felt like the designers, they didn't really care. They didn't really care. It was... You opened up a door and there were 8 snakes kind of sitting almost on top of each other. Like, yeah, here, throw them in, have fun. They're snakes, monsters, fight them. It kind of felt like someone was designing a room and just putting in one spawn point and I said, 8 snakes or something. I don't know how to explain this. You have to play the game yourself. So you always have like... You have this huge room and the enemies have like 5 spots where 8 or so enemies stand. It doesn't feel like a living, breathing world. It does feel like, they are encounter, they are spawn points, they are whatever. In other Might and Magic games, they didn't really have the ability to have a breathing, living world or whatever. And they also had quite a lot of rooms where you opened up a door in the tower, in the northern tower in Might and Magic 5, and the room is full of blood knights. There are like 20, 30 blood knights standing there. But this was in the end game and you kind of could handle them. And they didn't really have the option to do it differently. But still, it wasn't... It didn't really feel like... Some rooms in Might and Magic 6 just feel like busy work. And... yeah, especially the ending. Oh my god, the ending. The story of Might and Magic 6 is... I'm going to spoil now, and I don't care. The story of Might and Magic 6 is about devils that land on Envos, and you have to fight them, of course. And there are some rulers or lords who rule parts of the world you are in, and you have to do tasks for them so you get the allowance to enter the Oracle. And the Oracle is kind of like a computer. Yeah? Like I said, Magic is medieval stuff combined with futuristic technology. And so the Oracle is a computer, and the Oracle tells you, Archibald, who is kind of like the baddie of the Heroes of Might and Magic 2 game. He kind of damaged me, and you have to retrieve the memory orbs. And you have to retrieve 4 memory orbs. The dungeons with these memory orbs are insane. They're not really hard per se. And that's what bothers me that much at Might and Magic 6. There is this castle, Darkmoor, whatever. This castle is full of beholder-type monsters who remove all your buffs. So you have a buffless party. And if you saw my Let's Plays of Might Magic 3, 4, and 5, you also know that as soon as you get the good buffing spells, you have them on all the time. Because without these buffing spells, your party is as weak as a baby. So these monsters remove all your buff spells. Okay, fine. Then you are fighting liches, who cast quite a lot of spells. And then there was this room full of liches, at least 20 liches, at least 20 of these beholders, a few ogres, and you are standing there with no buffs at all. And of course it was doable, but it was not fun. You were standing there at the beginning, you were enemies were shooting, flinging fireballs at you. You took damage, you were counter healing all the time. And the tactic, at least the tactic I used, was go in, go to the beginning, pull like a few monsters out, go around the corner, and kill these monsters. Then go to a safe place, rest, and repeat. So, yeah, that was the whole tactic. You always had to pull like a few monsters out, kill them, rest up, do the same. And it was not fun. There was no fun involved. It felt horrible. It felt like busy work. The same was in Castle Alamos, where there was a huge bunch of mages that shot the living hell out of you. The end game is kind of like a lot of ranged combat casters. Then you go into the Tomb of Waren, which is kind of like a spaceship hidden as a pyramid. Not to mention, it is a really boring level, but there are a lot of genies in there. There was one room where there were like 30, 40 genies standing there shooting shit at you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting there, buffed up party, turn-based mode, pressing the A button to shoot bows at them, and yeah, okay, party goes low, turn-based mode off, go into a safe corner, rest up, go back, holding the A button. It was not fun. I don't know who played this game, who play tested this game, but in my opinion, Might and Magic 6 is a huge pile of shit. Okay. Might and Magic 7, on the other hand, at least from what I remember, I beat it like 3 years ago. But I kinda have it in a more better memory, or I didn't really experience it that bad, at least not that bad at Might and Magic 6. Might and Magic 8, on the other hand, like I said, is doable. It kind of sometimes also feels like busy work, but it kind of had a better feeling, a more gothic feeling. You have like liches in your party, you have vampires in your party. Your party wasn't all these do-gooders all the time. You kind of had some evil people in your party. Yeah, it kind of felt good. And the story of Might and Magic 7 has a nice little twist about the last quarter of the game. And I'm not going to spoil that, because when I play this game, I want to explain this to you or show this to you. Might and Magic 9, on the other hand, I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure they were forced to release this, and they were forced to release this, because this game, they shed it out on the market. They hoped it would save their company. I don't even know if they put it on the market and immediately closed the company. I honestly don't know. But Might and Magic 9 was kind of like the end of New World Computing for quite some time, as far as I know. Gosh, this game is so bad. I mean, I will explain this bug during the Let's Play, but I have to say this now. Because this is something I honestly don't know how this get past any kind sort of quality testing. In all the Might and Magic parts up from 6, you can hire some NPCs in your party that give you special boni or something like that. And one of them is a banker. And the banker is kind of like, every gold you find, he adds 20% to this gold, and from the result he takes 10% for him or her. So you kind of gain some gold. Like you find 100 gold, he does 120 out of it, and he takes 11 gold from 12 gold from that. Sorry. So you kind of have a net gain of 8 gold if you have this in the party. Later on you get like 10,000 gold, and it adds up. In Might and Magic 9, when you can put money on the bank. You kind of could do this in every Might and Magic game, at least from 3 onwards. I'm not sure if it was in 1 and 2. but you put this money in your bank, and you have a banker in your party, and you withdraw the money. So you have like 10,000 gold in the bank, you withdraw these 10,000 gold, and due to the bonus of the banker, you suddenly have 12,000 gold more. You know where the problem is? You can put all your money in the bank, withdraw the money, and you have 20% more. And the banker doesn't even take his 10% of the share. So I was fooling up. I'm not going. I hope I don't have to use this bug in any kind of form, and I'm not going to use this bug if there's any way I can prevent this. I heard that you have quite a lot of money problems in this game, so every possibility is open. But I was fooling around with this in a safe game, offline, well, off screen, let's say like this, and in a matter of like 10 minutes I had 3 million gold, and I started with 3,000. And I don't know how you... This is horrible. When I make my party, I'm going to have CPC Gamer, Darth Helmet, myself, and Gilvin in the party. Gilvin will be human paladin. A human paladin, and you... the game is set up like this. You start with 2 classes, fighter and initiate, and then you can promote. The fighter can promote to crusader and mercenary, and the crusader can be promoted to ranger and paladin, and the mercenary to gladiator and assassin, and something like this with the initiates. And you have the standard races of elf, dwarf, half orc. I'm not sure if you have gnomes in there. I don't think so, but gnomes are usually part of the Might and Magic universe, but I'm not sure. And every class and race combination kinda has its own little picture in the inventory screen. You open up your inventory, you kinda have your inventory or your equipment there, and in the background of the equipment there's a picture depending on what class you have at the moment and what race you are. So I make Gilvin a female human fighter, and I get a picture of a female half-orc fighter. This is something you have to realize kinda like 5 minutes after playtesting. I mean, if I get a task of test this, the first thing I will do is make a fighter of every race and every gender combination, and make a mage of every race and gender combination to see if it works. And this is something you find out in 5 minutes. Then I promoted Gilvin, like I said, a human fighter, and I promoted her to a human crusader, and I get a picture of a dwarven fighter. What? Same as Darth Helmet. Darth Helmet is an elf fighter, and he has the picture of a dwarven fighter, and I don't know how something like this can happen. I mean, it's not a big bug, of course, but if they don't find small bugs like this, you know what I'm talking about. If they don't find small bugs like this, I don't want to know what kind of fuck-ups they have in this game. And that's the main reason why I'm using a walkthrough for Might and Magic 9. Because I honestly don't want to spend like 30 hours into this game just to realize, whoops, I fucked up the main storyline. Too bad. Anyways, after Might and Magic 9, I'm going to Let's Play Might and Magic 7. After that, I'm pretty sure I won't touch a role-playing game for quite some time. Perhaps Legend of Grimrock. The problem with Legend of Grimrock, I kind of have to get it running. My recording software. I need a new recording software for this game. Because I was playing it in a window, I was recording this with my debut or whatever you are calling this. And it was horrible when the party moved. It looked like ass. So I can't really record it with my current recording software. Perhaps I will get Fraps or something. Another Let's Player, Liberty Denied, told me what he's using to record his Let's Play of Grimrock. I'm not sure if I will use it. We will see. Um, Other than that, I will most likely sooner or later let's play all of the Might and Magic series. And I'm going to warn you, I'm going to play the PC versions of Might and Magic 1 and 2. Mainly because I think that's the original. So there were no porting errors, there was no screwing up during the porting. The Super Nintendo version of Might and Magic 2, for example, is horribly bugged because the enemies have a move called Frenzy or Berserk or something like this. The enemy kills himself but does a lot of damage to the party. Yeah, in the Super Nintendo version this move doesn't work. The enemy gets killed, you get XP for it, but your party is unharmed. The problem is, usually that's a good thing, but there's a one fight where you're fighting 3 enemies, and if they're really hard enemies, and if you beat them you get like 10 million experience points. The problem is these guys are using this spell quite a lot. So yeah, you're going there with your level 1 party, they explode, you get experience points, woohoo, have fun. Not that good. Other than that, I really like the Might and Magic series. Perhaps because it does have this mixture of medieval and futuristic stuff in it. I also like the Heroes. And now I'm going to talk about the Heroes of Might and Magic series. I am a huge fan of strategy games. And I kinda also like the Heroes of Might and Magic series. But this series is hard. You have to be on your toes like all the time. You have, I think the best way to play this game if you are not that experienced in it, and I'm honest with you, I'm not that experienced with it. I like playing it, I kind of played it a lot, but I haven't really got a good tactic in this game going on. I usually have my 3 heroes and 1 big army on 1 hero. The others are kind of like for collecting resources. And I usually get kicked in my balls quite a lot because my main army is somewhere on the map and suddenly the enemy attacks me from behind or something and conquers all of my cities. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Not to mention, I kind of need this big army because the enemy has like 5 times the towns of something. I don't know. I would never do a let's play of this game. Let's say it like this, because this game is kind of like the last mission of Warcraft 2, and this game hates you, and it shows you that it hates you. So, if somebody has if somebody knows a good let's play of this game and can give me some hints on how to play it properly, then yeah, I'm open for suggestions, really. But and like I said, I also didn't like the mix of the different stories. I do like my stories, but I don't really feel like playing 10 different games to kind of grasp the story of one game, and I don't know, it felt kind of weird. Not to mention, in Might and Magic 6, they copied quite a lot of the monsters from Heroes of Might and Magic 3? 2 and 3. So most of the monsters you encountered in Might and Magic 3, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, you saw in Might and Magic 6. You may argue that it makes sense that it's playing in the same area and it's not really that bad, but it kind of felt lazy. I don't know. Anyways, I talked enough. The Might and Magic series is still one of my favorite dungeon crawling RPG-ish series so far, and it comes in front of the Wizardry series. I kind of like the Wizardry series, but if I have to choose, I will always choose the Might and Magic series. And I'm looking forward to beat the rest of the series as a Let's Play, but I will not Let's Play Might and Magic 6. No way in hell. Anyways, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh yes, totally forgot. You see the background image, Elanarae. My first YouTube account was called Elanarae, but sadly I kind of forgot the password on it. And I used the nickname Elanarae quite long in as save games, as a profile name and things like that. So yeah, the Might and Magic series kind of followed me quite a lot in my use, and I have to say, Elanarae is a mean son of a bitch. I mean, you can't even defeat him. You need to get help from Korek in order to defeat him, because he's just too powerful for your party. And I think that's pretty badass. Anyways, like I said, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see each other soon. So, take care and goodbye.